Okay, so I've been obsessing over something weird about Batman for days now, and I think I figured out why he makes me so lost. You know that feeling when you're watching The Dark Knight and Batman's doing all this heroic stuff, but something in your gut just feels wrong? Like there's something fundamentally broken about this guy that goes way beyond the tragic backstory. Most people see Batman as the ultimate hero story, right? This guy transformed childhood trauma into a noble mission to protect others. We're taught that he represents triumph over tragedy, that Bruce Wayne chose to become something greater than his pain. But here's what kept bugging me. What if that's not heroism at all? What if we've been getting Batman completely backwards this whole time? What if Batman isn't the story of someone who healed from trauma and became a hero, but someone whose trauma never healed? So he created an elaborate psychological prison that we've been calling heroism for 80 years. Because I started noticing these 3 specific patterns in how Batman acts, and once I figured out what they were, everything clicked. These aren't hero behaviors. They're textbook trauma responses that we've been romanticizing for decades. So here's what I'm gonna show you. First, there's this control addiction that Batman has that, honestly, you probably recognize it in people around you. Then there's this moral code situation that's literally torturing him every day. And finally, and this one broke my heart when I figured it out, there's why he can't let anyone actually love him. But here's where it gets personal. Once you see these patterns, you might start recognizing them in yourself. If you love exploring the psychology behind fictional characters, especially when it reveals something profound about real human behavior, you're definitely in the right place. By the end of this, you'll understand why Batman's greatest enemy isn't the Joker or any villain. It's his own psychology that keeps him trapped in endless cycles of control and isolation. Let me show you what I mean. There's this scene that really got to me. Batman has files on how to neutralize the entire Justice League. His own friends, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, people who've proven their loyalty, people who've saved his life. And I thought, wow, that's really messed up. But then I realized, no, wait, that's actually perfectly logical if you're Bruce Wayne. His brain literally cannot compute the idea of permanent safety. There's this thing called hypervigilance. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time you make toast. Bruce's childhood trauma rewired his threat detection system so completely that even Superman protecting Earth feels temporary to him.
Late? Come on, it's early.
Think about what happened to 8-year-old Bruce Wayne in Crime Alley. His entire understanding of safety got shattered during critical brain development periods. Therefore, his adult brain learned this brutal lesson. Safety is an illusion. Danger is always coming. You must always be watching. You know someone like this, right? The person who can handle any crisis but falls apart when someone asks if they're okay, who has 17 backup plans but can never just trust that things might work out. Watch for this pattern. They're amazing at solving other people's problems, but terrible at accepting help. They can plan obsessively, but never actually enjoy their successes. They seem incredibly competent, but can never really relax. What breaks my heart about this is that Batman's control addiction isn't just protecting him, it's preventing the very thing he claims he wants. Every contingency plan, every wall he builds, every system he creates to feel secure is actually ensuring he'll never experience absolute security, because real security requires trust, and trust requires vulnerability. You know that friend who seems to have everything together but can't enjoy a simple dinner without calculating exit routes? That's Bruce Wayne psychology right there. If this is hitting close to home, recognizing it in Batman or someone you know, just hit like. It helps me know this kind of psychological breakdown resonates with people. But that control thing, it's actually protecting him from something even more devastating that I didn't see coming. So I was thinking about the whole Batman doesn't kill thing, and at first I thought it was noble, you know? But then I kept watching scenes where the Joker escapes for the 100th time and kills more people, and I started feeling angry at Batman.
God damn it. Well, what are you waiting for? Kick the hell out of me and get your standing ovation.
Dude, just end this. Stop letting this psychopath hurt innocent people because of your moral code. You'd think someone as brilliant as Batman would have actually realized that his no-kill rule is enabling more deaths, but then it hit me. Oh my god. Bruce feels that anger too, every single time. There's this thing called cognitive dissonance, when your brain is trying to hold two beliefs that feel equally true but completely contradict each other, and Batman is living this every day. Evil must be stopped by any means necessary, versus taking a life makes me no better than them. Imagine the psychological torture of knowing that your moral code might be enabling more deaths, but also knowing that breaking that code would destroy the last piece of the 8-year-old boy whose parents were murdered. So Batman can't change the rule because that rule is protecting his identity. If Bruce Wayne became a killer, even of killers, then Crime Alley wins. The trauma wins. This is why he feels that same anger you feel watching the Joker escape, but he's trapped because both choices, killing or not killing, lead to guilt and compromise. The noble moral code isn't actually noble. It's a trauma response that's slowly destroying his sanity. Hot take, Batman's no-kill rule isn't heroic. It's a psychological prison that enables more suffering. Or you think. You know that feeling when you're stuck between two choices that both feel wrong, when every option leads to guilt or compromise? That's Bruce Wayne every single night. If you're loving this kind of psychological breakdown that connects fictional characters to real human patterns, subscribe because there's so much more to explore. But here's what this impossible situation reveals about why Batman literally cannot accept love. Picture Alfred trying to comfort Bruce after a brutal night, and Bruce immediately deflecting to mission talk. This next part genuinely made me feel sad when I figured this out. Batman has people who love him, Alfred, various Robins, even Catwoman, but he can't genuinely receive that love because his brain learned something devastating when he was 8 years old. Watch his body language in any scene where someone tries to comfort him. The second someone gets emotionally close, his shoulders tense up, he looks away and starts talking about work. And I realized he's not just being stoic, he's literally scared of being loved. When your primary attachment figures, your parents, get violently ripped away during childhood, your developing brain learns this equation. Love equals loss. Getting close to people equals getting hurt. Batman keeping everyone at emotional distance to avoid loss. Batman learning that isolation guarantees the loneliness he's trying to prevent. Have you ever pushed someone away just when they were trying to care for you? We've all done Batman's thing where we sabotage relationships right when they get real. There's this psychological thing called avoidant attachment, and Bruce Wayne is a textbook case. He needs connection, but fears it, wants love, but can't trust it, keeps everyone at exactly the distance where they can't leave them because they were never really close enough to matter. When did you last deflect a genuine compliment or push away someone who's trying to care for you? Drop a comment because we've all been there. The saddest part is that Bruce keeps everyone at exactly the distance where they can see his mission, but not his pain. He'll let people admire Batman, but he won't let anyone just love Bruce. And it's actually a pattern a lot of us have, using our competence to earn love instead of believing we're worthy of love just as we are. Think about it. When someone compliments your achievements versus your personality, which one feels more real? But here's what all three of these patterns reveal about Batman's psychology and why this matters for anyone who uses strength to avoid vulnerability. So here's what I figured out about Batman that changes everything. He's not broken because he experienced trauma. Lots of people experience trauma and don't become vigilantes. Batman is trapped because he never learned the difference between surviving trauma and healing from it. Every single one of his strengths, the intelligence, the preparedness, the physical conditioning, the strategic thinking, they're all trauma responses. They're incredibly impressive trauma responses, but they're still just ways of avoiding the actual healing work. Using strength to avoid vulnerability, competence to avoid intimacy, control to avoid trust.
No. No dating for the Batman. It might cut into your brooding time.
1. Dating within the team always leads to disaster.
Using that same intelligence and determination to choose connection over isolation. We all have our own version of the Batcave, those elaborate systems we build to feel safe and in control. Maybe it's perfectionism, workaholism, people-pleasing, always being the strong one, always having a plan. And just like Bruce, sometimes our greatest strengths are actually our most sophisticated survival strategies. The things that help us survive difficult situations become the things that prevent us from truly living. Here's what I want you to try this week. Think about your own Batcave. that area of your life where you feel like you have to be hyper-vigilant, where you can't let anyone else help, where you're protecting everyone but no one's protecting you? What would it feel like to let someone else handle that, just once? Because here's what Batman's story teaches us. Our trauma responses can look like strength from the outside, but if they're keeping us isolated and unable to receive love, that's not strength. That's just beautifully decorated survival. The most heartbreaking thing about Batman isn't that he's damaged. It's that he's so close to healing but won't take the final step. He has people who love him, resources to get help, and everything he needs to address his trauma. But doing that would mean letting go of the identity that's kept him alive all these years. But you don't have to choose between healing and strength. You can keep your intelligence, your protective instincts, your competence, and still learn to let people care for you. You can be strong enough to be vulnerable, smart enough to ask for help, strategic enough to choose trust. Batman's tragedy is that he never learned the difference between being needed and being loved. He confused his worth with his usefulness, his identity with his mission. The people who love you for real are impressed by your competence nearly as much as they're moved by your authenticity. The goal isn't to fix yourself or become perfect. It's to find people who can love you in process, not just in performance. Which part of Batman's psychology it closest to home for you? Was it the control addiction, the impossible moral standards, or the fear of being truly known? Let me know in the comments, because understanding these patterns isn't just about fictional characters. It's about recognizing where our own survival strategies might be keeping us from genuine connection. And if this kind of psychological breakdown changed how you see strength and vulnerability, subscribe, because there's so much more to explore about how our minds work and how understanding psychology can set us free from the patterns we didn't even know we were trapped in. Batman shows us that our greatest strength can become our most beautiful prisons, but recognizing the prison is the first step toward finding the key. Your trauma responses don't define you, but understanding them, that's where your real power begins. Don't let your armor become your cage.